Live.
Well, we are live, and we're live from the great traffic of Cleveland, Ohio. Not expecting this. I know this isn't the safest thing to always do, but that's why you have the hands-free microphone in your car, and I'm not going to look at the camera. I'm going to look at the traffic as I'm stuck trying to go to Lake County, and Ryan Mosser is out there in Vermilion as we do this remotely in the way we've never done this show before. I'm back. Voice of the Land is back. And of course, we are brought to you by our friends at Greeny Sports Cards. You can reach out to them, greenysportscards.com. They have monthly shows at the Kirtland, Kirtland Community Center, the Senior Center out there. And I know that they have other big shows. Ryan, don't they have a big show coming up again, or is that already
They just had
us?
it this past weekend at North Olmsted at the Great Northern Mall there. Yeah.
But you can always get information on what they're doing, where they're going, greenysportscards.com. And was tonight supposed to be the night we were supposed to pick a winner?
We never talked about it. We can at least do one more week. So give one
Yeah,
more.
let's do.
But we have a giveaway sponsored by Greenies, a 2025 Panini Score football card box. Has 90 cards in it. The box has opportunity to pull some great cards and autographs, a lot of rookie cards. It's this one right here. Unopened. That can be yours. Just go to our Twitter at VTL_pod. And then it'll be our pin tweet. Just follow the rules, follow us, follow Greenies, and then you'll be entered to win there. Go check it out. Not a lot of entries right now, so get in there because someone's going to win this, and it's a pretty awesome prize. So.
And of course, we are partnered with LPV Productions as well as we do a short and weird version. I mean, the whole. I've got so many things that grind my gears right now, and it's just happened all in the last 15 minutes, maybe even long. Well, actually longer than that. I started this drive at about 5:20. It's almost been an hour, and I've only gone 3 miles. I don't know.
How far is the normal commute? How long does it usually take?
15 minutes.
Yeah,
15 minutes. 15 to 20 from downtown to Wycliffe or Wycliffe to downtown and back during those times. And I think that there's multiple wrecks that are going on, and we just pray for everybody that's involved with that. We didn't talk about what we were going to talk about tonight.
Right.
I mean, the only place you can really start is 1 and 5. Ryan, I got to admit, man, I don't know how much Browns we will dig as deep as we can. I don't know how big we'll go.
Right.
Because I am apathetic, man. I just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the season I was going to talk about. You know, I've been warning fans that it's not going to be as pretty as everyone thought, and it's, unfortunately, with the way that I foresaw so far, it's not fun. I mean, Myles Garrett said it best: it's embarrassing. So.
It is embarrassing, and at this point, everybody can just go. And really, Ryan, I mean, the people that need fired, you can never fire, and you're not going it's never going to happen. So, I don't see how this gets better. And what really, I guess, speaking of things that grind my gears, what really grinds my gears is it just so happens that a deal is struck with the city of Cleveland Monday after another terrible, terrible loss to the Steelers, which you have not won a regular season game and a game with fans in their stadium for 22 years now and running.
Crazy. 2003, yeah.
Yeah, it's now officially 22 years because you've gone through your rendition of facing the Steelers at Acrisure, terrible sod turf type field out there in Crapsburg. I mean, I can't say the word that I usually call that city, but I mean, we all hate them, but nothing ever changes. And as much as new regimes come in and people say, well, you can't put the old stuff on them. I can put the old stuff on them because all they do is nothing new. All they do is the same old, same old. And I don't know what it is, but it's some sort of magic. I wouldn't call it an elixir, magic curse that just runs over everybody and makes you think in Berea, hey, I'm smarter than everybody else. I'm going to do things a way that no one's ever thought of before. And it turns into the same old crap.
Yeah, I mean, it set us back so much just as a franchise. I mean, we had a promising quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Obviously, I'm not going to rehash the history too much, but like we had the offense. I mean, of course. I mean, hindsight's 2020. Deshaun Watson sucks, and the fact that he could even play this year is insane. Oh my gosh, I don't want to get to that, but just, I mean, we had it. And then, like you said, they had to be the smartest guy in the room. And, they completely, not only just is it a blunder, it is the worst trade in sports history. And we are stuck with the aftermath now. I mean, this offensive line is absolutely awful. It's going to get even worse next year, which is, it's just hard to even fathom, but that's the reality of it. And I mean, like you said, we haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2003. Dillon Gabriel was 2 years old, bro. Our starting quarterback was 2 years old the last time that we won against our alleged rivals at their home field. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, and really, he's not even your starting quarterback. He's your starting quarterback right now. But really, if you go by what everybody said, he was drafted to be your long-time backup quarterback, and that's what he looks like now. Not all of it is his fault, and, if you want to talk about, and it's totally fair to talk about Kevin Stefanski needing to go because this offense doesn't look any better. It actually looks worse this year. You can't score more than you can't even score more than 17 points for now 12 or 13 straight games. Like we're in an antiquated, ancient time of football in Cleveland when everybody else is playing a whole different sport than us. Even they're playing a different sport in high school, college, and the entire NFL. It's one of hundreds or thousands of places that are playing football that plays football this way. And I know the Jets didn't have a good offense the previous week, but I've seen them score 30 points this year. They suck, but I've seen them score points. Miami's coming in. Everybody thinks, oh, this is the week we can get a win. You just run the ball with Quinshon Judkins, Ryan. Just give it to him 35 times and over 200 yards in 50-mile-per-hour winds and rain and stuff. Do you trust Kevin Stefanski to actually do that? Or do you think he's going to do what he did a couple years back when it was the coldest day? And mind you, I had to get downtown and, work out there in this stuff. Like, the coldest day against the Saints, and the Saints came in and beat you when it was like a day you should have just ran the football and we're trying to chuck it all over the place. I don't trust that's going to happen. But guess what? Andrew Berry doesn't get off either because what is this offensive line? Ancient, decrepit, old, slow, and unable to block anybody. It is a swinging door at every spot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, people are saying, at least, we're playing the Dolphins this week, and hopefully we'll get a win. I mean, one thing that the Browns haven't done in 11 consecutive games is score over 20 points. I think it's 18 points now, but over 20 points. Dolphins this year, just alone this year, 27 points, 21, 27, 24, 27. There's
5 straight games.
Insane. If history is going to repeat itself and this offense is going to continue the way it has, Dillon Gabriel threw 52 passes last week, bro. That's not
drop back 58. Drop back 58.
Insane.
Got
not a
sacked 6 times.
Success. Quinshon Judkins only 12 rushes for 36 yards, and this guy should be the focal point of your offense. It's now practice, and if the offense continues the way it is, and it probably will, we're going to lose this game because we can't score 20 points. The Dolphins have, like you said, 5 games in a row.
I don't know. The biggest surprise to me will be if they actually do a offensive game plan that matches up with the weather. And I know weather can always change, and weather people are saying to keep an eye on it because they're not sure how it's going to hit, where exactly it's going to hit, but there's going to be rough conditions somewhere in our area. And, if a couple years ago, if indications are, look, it was, 2023 and 2025, we started with the Bengals. And that Bengals game in 2023, it rained over the stadium and nowhere else for most of the time. And then it was like a random rain shower that no one was expecting during the home opener this year. So, that stadium really, really draws it in. I mean, oh boy, it is. And how typical Cleveland, Ryan, that I said I'm apathetic and I don't care. And I'm starting to rant and rave. This is just, it's frustrating, and it's why, like, I know other people have found, like, and I actually believe the fans. I know other, people in my uh line of work don't necessarily believe the fans when they say that they're finding other things to do on Sundays. I actually believe that they're doing that
Oh, I do
and that
too.
they're okay doing that. I still watch the games, but there's no emotion with it at all.
Yeah.
So that
I mean,
when it ends and they've lost terribly, just go on and I start running around again with Lincoln and banging our head into the couch or the bed or something like that, because it's really all that matters.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, going into this season with a fantasy outlook instead of just a team outlook has definitely helped me a lot. Um, looking at it that way, especially with the amount of teams that I have. But yeah, I mean, for normal fans who just, yeah, I'll watch the Browns. I'm from Cleveland, but like they're not invested like you and I. They're not, they don't have several podcasts and things like that. Just talking about Cleveland sports in general. Like they're not going to watch this game. They're going to go, take the last few days of the year where it's nice out and go apple picking and do other things with their family and just enjoy the weather and not have to just, worry about this team that can't score more than 12, 17 points. Like it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm still watching, but it's because I have to. I mean, yeah, I mean, with like I said, with the fantasy outlook, it helps, but still, it's just it's so depressing.
And apologies if I drop out here at all. I know that Ryan is more than capable of holding it down until I jump back in, because I'm getting into that one spot on 90 and 2 going home that gets into some bad reception. But Ryan did the show by himself last week when I was still on vacation, so he can take it and cover it. So if I drop out, Ryan, just keep on rolling, and I'll try to get back in.
That's cool.
I don't know. Talking about them more, like, it's just can't catch, can't block. Defense can actually tackle, but they're not. I don't think they're as good as people think, and they're starting to. I think it's more so because they're starting to become apathetic themselves, and do just enough so that the money will continue to come in, but not going. There's going to become a fracture, Ryan, and it's going to become a big topic, and people are going to freak out that oh, this person's not playing as hard or whatever. I see it coming, and I don't blame a single person.
I mean, I will blame the one person I would blame is Myles Garrett. Absolutely, would blame Myles Garrett.
Well, yeah,
if he's out there loafing on the field. I mean, honestly, I mean, what?
Yeah, put us in the graveyard too, dude. I don't really care. I don't really care. You're not a leader, and
I mean, he hasn't had a sack since week 3. Last week, his stats were 2 assisted tackles. I mean, granted, yes, he's being double teamed or triple, whatever. Nonetheless, like, you took the money, you decided to be here, you knew what this team was going to be. Like, you need to, and I mean, especially going against, on the other side, TJ Watt last week, like, that's embarrassing for you, bro. You're talking about being embarrassed by the offense, but like you signed the contract, you saw the writing on the wall, you took the money, and now you are crying about it. You looked embarrassing as well. So,
yeah, and people make so many excuses about how he's, and I know numbers and analytics would probably back it up that he's, the most double and triple teamed and chipped and all that kind of stuff. Guess what? You're still. So. Guess what? TJ Watt and players like that are still doing that, and they still make plays in games.
Right.
Like, and when people started to question TJ Watt at the beginning of the season, guess what he started to do? He started to come on. When people question Myles Garrett, he just acts like, well, it's not his fault, and he doesn't have any room to grow. And like, I don't know. It was off to the side today, Ryan, and hearing, and hey, traffic might be opening up. That might be some good news here. I'll be your guys' traffic reporter. I didn't tell anybody where I was, and yet I tell people where I live. So like, people know what route I have to take home. It doesn't really matter. I'm close to Eddy Road, and things are starting to open up. Someone's just driving in the berm. We're not even close to a nice. That's why I'm not looking at the camera. This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. Oh, Jerry Jeudy was talking, and someone asked him, like, how do you guys like get out of this rut of continuing to lose in the same fashion? And he said, I don't know. That shows you right there that there's no accountability, and these players don't actually think that they're doing anything wrong, or they don't think it's as bad as it actually is.
Or
And
maybe
that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, maybe they believe it's coaching, and you can't go out there and say, well, my coach is, so the simple question is, I don't know, because, Jeudy has no excuses. Dude has the most drops in the NFL right now. Like, he needs to get the heck out of Cleveland for all I care. But, for, the rest of the guys, this defense can only play so hard that before, they're going to bend and then they're going to break because they're not on the field so much because this offense cannot drive down the field other than the first scripted drive of the game for Stefanski on offense. So it's I feel bad for the defense too. Like I said, there shouldn't be any loafing. You guys need to go out there and play, but at the end of the day, at the end of the fourth quarter, you're tired and your offense hasn't helped you at all. I don't necessarily think they're loafing. I just think they're getting beat, and that sucks. So,
and the defense is, they're putting, I would say, putting a little bit more of their body. If you're outside the trenches, you're putting more of your body on the line on defense than you're on offense, especially with the rules all favoring the offense in the NFL nowadays. Like, the way you have to play defense and how you have to be, even more mentally focused than in the past, plus physical and bringing the, I guess, that you got barbecue back there, those types of hits that Denzel Ward had at Ohio State, having to do that very often in the NFL. That's not easy to do. And then you get a stop or you get a turnover even, and they started to get a couple of those. They need to get more of them, absolutely. They're nowhere near perfect. But you get stops, you get a stop on fourth down, you get turnovers, and your offense does nothing with the football. One time it's okay, defense on the other side did their job. But if it's time and time and time and time again, that gets frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know.
But enough about them.
I don't know how they're going to fit.
Go ahead.
No, I'm done. No, I don't know either. So.
Yeah, we're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
When the player says, I don't know, that's not a good sign.
Right.
On the good side of things in football, you got high school football during the end of the season. We'll touch on that here in just a second. Of course, Ohio State's 6-0. They go into Wisconsin this week. A game on the road, 3:30 on Saturday before they have a bye week before a Penn State game that, now doesn't look it's nowhere near as big as it was when you saw the schedule at the start of the year. But they're going to try to, if they believe what they're saying, they're going to try to make history and run the table.
Yeah. Okay.
So you'll have to have your antennas up in that one. Yeah. You'll have to have antennas up in that one because it's a desperate team, and desperate teams can cause games to go different ways. But Ryan, I got to be honest, this Ohio State team continues to show that they can win different games, blowouts, close games, mucked up games, can do it from any different angle. And people think that, the defense didn't play as well last week. They finally gave up double-digit points. And yet you still won by 18, which was more. And I don't sports bet, all those types of things, but I still have to understand that there's lines in games to tell you, to express how much of a favorite one team or how much better a team is over the other. They beat the original line when it first opened going into Illinois last week. So this team just, you want to see more of the offense, Ryan, and they could look more dominant, but they're clearly the number one team in this country. Yeah,
you can go each positional room and just and I could argue that that's the best positional room in all of college football. Their all offensive line is absolutely stellar. I've been gushing about these linebackers for how long? I've been talking. I told everyone, Arvell Reese, get ready. He's leading the team in tackles. He's in second or third right now in sacks. Dude looks like he's going to be a first round pick. Dude's a beast. I mean, it's. So even Devin Sanchez last week getting in and starting as a freshman, like a lot of things are just happening for the Buckeyes right now. They are absolutely the number one team in the country. That defense is so good. And I even talked about the offense. I mean, the running back room, Bo Jackson, freshman, dominating right now. I mean, 410 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, the receivers, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, like there's no drop off there. Carnell Tate also looks like he's going to be a first round pick. Jermaine Matthews looks like a first round pick as well. Caden Curry looks like he's just shot up in this draft out of nowhere. The depth on that's a testament to, the coaching there too, because like guys like Caden Curry and, Caden McDonald, a lot of those guys who waited their turn, finally got the turn and are producing out of nowhere. Who are these guys? The national guys are saying, but they're just guys who could have gone anywhere the last 2 years, started, but decided to wait and dominate now, which is a testament to the culture which Ohio State has right now, which is amazing. So.
And they prepare you to go to the pros, and now you have that championship, the national championship, to back up everything that they've been preaching. And all you hear coming out of Columbus is that Ryan Day, this coaching staff, this team is hungrier than they even were last year to make their mark, because their mindset is, while Ohio State is the defending national champion, this particular iteration, this chapter of Ohio State football history has not done anything. And I know that there's guys on this team that want to win the game.
Sure.
They want a conference championship. As much as those things start to become less important by the way that college football is set up now, and you don't have to necessarily win your conference or go undefeated and all those types. Like, you could lose 2 games, and there's going to be years where I think that there's going to be a 3-loss team that makes it into the college football playoff, especially if they go to 16 teams.
Right.
So those types of rivalries and all the pageantry of college football, yeah, it's going away. Ohio State hasn't lost that mindset. Like, they have a singular focus, and they know that it's going to take time to get there. And I don't know how you feel about it, Ryan. I know that there's been criticism on Ryan Day and Brian Hartline about the offense and not having explosive plays, and it gets talked about in press conferences and all those types of things. I think the guy's name is Anad Naduri. He covers NFL for like Roto World. He's out in Chicago, but he went to Columbus. He's covered college football and the NFL for a long time, and his tweets come up all the time just on my For You page because he's talking Ohio State a lot, and he actually made a good point, saying that Ohio State, especially after the run last year, understands that college football season is no longer 13 or 14 games.
For sure.
It's like 17 games. Now, people would hear that and say, like, oh, it's only a couple more. In the game of football, that's a lot.
Especially when you're going against a top 12 team, So
yeah, one extra game than you've been used to.
Right.
And especially, you got freshmen playing for this Ohio State team, and college football teams all over the place. They're used to playing, only so long in high school. Then it extends out in college football. Then it extends out in the NFL. Well, now you're playing the NFL schedule, and this guy was basically saying Ohio State understands that, and their offense is going to look a lot different in November than it is right now, because they know that they're doing is they're making sure they win games right now. They're not looking for style points. They don't need to necessarily blow you out or send a message with how many points that they score, things like that. They're doing what they need to win. Julian Sands still looks like a great quarterback. Jeremiah Smith is the best wide receiver in all of college football, the best offensive player, one of the best players in college football. I don't care if people want to bring up stats and try to bring up guys on Indiana and everything like that to try to have a conversation about him not being as good as people say he is. There's a reason why Carnell Tate is open a lot more, and he's a number 1 wide receiver on any other team. because of Jeremiah Smith. There's a lot more that goes into being the elite of the elite than just the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I mean, yes, can they open it up? Yes. Should they? Probably not. I mean, Sane is a first-year quarterback. He's still learning. He's incredibly accurate. He's got 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns this year. Looks really, really good. But you have the top 2 running backs on the team who weren't with the team last year, with Bo Jackson and C.J. Donaldson. The guy who you thought was going to start in James Peoples is third, which is still good. You have practically a whole new offensive line. You don't need to lay it on teams right now. You need to manage games, score enough points, and get these guys in different situations where they're learning so that when they need to turn it on, like you said, in November during these playoffs, they absolutely can. That's definitely the right mindset to do it. And anyone naive enough to think like it's not a 17-game season with a team like Ohio State is just simply wrong. So
they're wrong. And as I think about it, and this season kind of progresses more, as much as it started out and people saying like the handcuffs were on Julian Sayin, like, and it would open up little by little. I feel like that process is much slower than all of us may have wanted or expected it to be. Not because they're putting the handcuffs on Julian Sayin. I think he's earned the trust of, to me, I feel like he's earned the trust of the coaching staff and everybody there at Ohio State to make the right play, get it in the playmakers' hands. But I think when you get into these bigger games, you come down the stretch and you come off this bye week. I'm interested to see what the offense looks like, not even this week, but in that game against Penn State. Like once you had another, 2 weeks to prepare for that final sprint of the regular season into conference championship play, to see what they actually look like, because I feel like there's things in the playbook that they are working on but not showing, so when they get in these bigger matchups and they need that big play to either take control or get themselves back in or just make a play to get some momentum going, I feel like there might be stuff they're holding back right now.
Oh, I mean, for sure, yeah. And they
train tracks.
Oh, you're good. I thought you got an accident. I mean, this week should be a week where they, should put them in situation. I mean, Wisconsin's not good. I mean, Wisconsin has definitely struggled this season. They lost to Iowa 37-0. They lost to Michigan. They lost to Maryland 27-10. I mean, Fickle is on the block right now, I would say for sure. They show flashes of competitiveness, but they're very inconsistent. Especially their offense against like bigger programs. So Ohio State should feast this game. I think Ohio State should be up very, very high, very early, and then start to get those. Hopefully they practice some plays, get some reps in and stuff like that, but then get some of those younger guys in for sure. But I think this is one of those games where it gets out of hand easy. I think the spread was 26.5, and it's going to be a lot higher than that, I think. So
as I pull into my driveway, I'm going to make sure no one can see exactly where I live. So I'm going to keep the camera angle at the same spot here, but I'm going to look at the camera now because I'm parked. I'm parked, everybody. I'm parked. I'm safe. I did everything safely. I think
you switched to Wi-Fi there. All right. Well, as Kevin finishes his thought real quick, his phone. Hey, there you are. I think your phone connected to Wi-Fi. What's up?
Yeah, it probably did. Yeah, because I'm right outside my house, so it's probably connected to the Wi-Fi. But yeah, I think Ohio State will. I think what you can really do in this game is go in. Defense have what you would consider a better performance this week. Go in with some momentum to that bye week, and then just hone in on the stuff that you don't like that you're doing. And it's a whole lot easier to get that message across when you're still winning. So I think as much as I don't like the double buys, I think this bye week coming at a good time for Ohio State. Yes, the Guardian season ended. We haven't had a chance to talk about that with each other, but I think that there's going to be time for that. And I just want to caution people, Ryan, don't just think that Austin Hedges is the only move. If we get to February and that's the only move, that's when we have the criticizing conversations. Not doing that right now. Let's see what they do because they have money, even for a team that they don't spend a lot, and they're in that market where they don't spend a lot, Ryan. They have money, so let's see how they operate, because I feel like you need to push that window of opportunity, instead of pushing it down slightly like they did coming into this year. You need to push that way up, because you don't get many chances like this, and you never want to see those windows come to an end. So I think you need to, I wouldn't say put all the chips in the middle of the table, but I would say push a heartier amount into the middle of the table on going into next season for the Guardians. Cavs get started next week. We'll talk about them next week.
First game?
Yeah, Knicks first game. I don't think we need to preview them, because, again, there's very few people that are going to be locked in on the regular season like in years past, because all they care about is what this team does in the playoffs.
Right.
That's really the only way to talk about it. Yeah, you want to see. I want to see how Lonzo Ball gets integrated into this team, what he can add in his limited minutes and not playing on back-to-backs for right now. When Darius comes back, what does that look like? What does Evan Mobley look like? He put in a lot of work on his body this offseason. And I think really, Ryan, it's the comments from Donovan Mitchell after the game when they were eliminated last year, where he said, to the media and to everybody out there, all y'all are going to talk your, what, and you're going to, dig us into the dirt. And he said, like, it's definitely warranted, but just see like what we do coming back next year. I want to see if there's any dog in this team.
Yeah.
And not just having just one dog out there, or like a Thomas Bryant coming in for a game and like getting a bunch of fouls or a technical foul or something like that. Like, I don't need just that. I don't need just a Charles Oakley. I need to see that dog in these guys when they were out on the playground playing with their buddies or wherever they grew up playing. I mean, Donovan Mitchell grew up on the courts of New York, like out there on the playground. Like, I want to see that inner player in some of these guys to have a feeling like the run could be different going into the playoffs. And there's high expectations, but they've made their bed and they got to lay in it, and they've got to find a way to, keep or get people back on board.
Yeah, I mean, and the East is stacked up. I mean, honestly, you never want to root for injuries. I said this last week, but the East is stacked up nicely for the Cavs to have a decent ride, maybe to the finals this year, hopefully. I mean, yeah, you said Darius Garland, like you said, he's hurt, but I think this team is definitely a more complete team so far going into the season. The addition of Lonzo Ball, Tyrese Proctor, Jalen Tyson is rumored to have stepped up, tremendously. I think Thomas Bryant's actually going to be a really, really, really great addition for a backup center, one that we desperately needed.
Larry Nance Jr.
Exactly.
With this team.
Yep. DeAndre Hunter staying, that's going to be huge. It just wasn't a 1 year trade to, try to make it. Max Strus is going to be like a brand new player coming back that we didn't have before once he's healthy, and hopefully Evan Mobley takes
that dude's a dog.
Yeah, I mean,
he was a dog, by the way.
Yeah. And then Evan Mobley, hopefully he takes that next step forward. I would love to see the offense go through Mobley, especially with Garland being hurt. Mitchell, I think he's suspected to play point guard, and Sam Morrow plays shooting guard until Garland gets back. That should open up things for Mobley more. This team looks, honestly, I mean, it's on paper, but with the injuries in the East, this team looks like it could go pretty far. I'm hesitant to say that just because I've been, burnt 2 seasons in a row, second round of the playoffs, but nonetheless, that's not my fault. They need to figure that out. And I think that with this team, if, injuries can, stay away, we could go very, very far finally. So.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna like you said, I'm not gonna say that they're going to as much as I want to, as much as it looks like they can, because they still have to prove that to me too. I'm not, just because I'm gonna be, and I still have to figure out how I'm gonna watch the games, but I'll find a way to keep track, and I'm knowledgeable enough to understand what's going on with the team.
Right.
But I'm gonna be locked in during the regular season when I know a lot of people really aren't going to. They may watch the games, but it's not going to be like the attention driven like you've had in the past, and that's just because that's where this team has put you. You got out at the same point 2 years in a row, and it looked listless. It looked like a listless team. And yeah, there was injuries and things like that, but it just like that level of intensity and physicality and heart and effort and just care out there on the floor ramps up exponentially when you get to the playoffs, and especially once you get past that first round.
Yeah.
You have to bring it every single night. And I think that when you haven't done that, when you look that way 2 years in a row, people question whether you can actually do that. And that's totally fair. And they have to prove it to me too, but I'm going to be locked in more on the regular season.
Yep, same here.
Last thing for you, Ryan, high school football nearing the end of the regular season already.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea how. I mean, there's a lot of good games out there. I know at ESPN Cleveland we have Buckeye at Rocky River, which is a 8-0 team against a 7-1 team going for a conference championship. Buckeye's just been scoring the heck out of the football all season long. Rocky River has a quarterback that can really throw it. He's coming back off an injury. There's a name that people should know going in, especially going into next year, but especially in the playoffs. Stephen Fakold of Nordonia, where the home of Denzel Ward. He has 2,100 yards passing and like 25 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
Like, this dude can chuck it, and he's only a junior, so he's only going to get better. And at Wadsworth, they have a sophomore quarterback that is absolutely chucking it. Bryson Hall, he's got 2 more years. He's doing what he's doing this year with Wadsworth just absolutely blowing out every opponent that they face.
Right.
But the one thing I wanted to mention was I don't know if you saw it, but the lawsuit that was brought up by a current Ohio State commit. He's still going to be visiting other schools, and he's only a verbal commit. Jameer Brown out of Huber Heights, Wayne, down there in the Columbus area. The NIL lawsuit against the Ohio High School Athletic Association, because we're one of 6 states that don't have regulations for high school students to be able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. And I saw an article today, Ryan, where it said that this lawsuit might actually expedite like an emergency vote to the schools in Ohio on this matter, because Ohio was going to present the next version of their plan in May.
Sure.
And that might happen within the next month.
I mean, first off, Jameer Brown, for those who don't know, is the absolute best receiver in the country in his class. 2027, I think he said out of Wayne. He is Olympic trial fast. This kid is absolutely a stud, and he is Brian Hartline's next top recruit after, of course, Chris Henry Jr. going into next year going to Ohio State. Last year Ohio high school football players threatened to leave the state of Ohio if they weren't allowed to compete in the 7-on-7 competitions with other states allowed to do that. So, the fact that Ohio had an emergency meeting and, obviously switched that, this is the next step. NIL app is here. We're in the world of NIL, and players like Hollywood Brown, who is in Ohio, is, if they soon are not able to accept, their money for their image and likeness, they're going to leave the state. They're going to go to other high schools. They're going to go to different programs. That's why it's emergency, because, I mean, if somebody like his stature didn't, bring this up, it probably wouldn't go be as important, but he's a very, very, very important player in the state of Ohio for high school football for the next 3 years. We need to keep him in Ohio. So I believe that this is absolutely the right call. I think that they should allow high school football players to make money off of NIL, and that it will be expedited, like you said. Real quick, also. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, just real quick, because Pete Thamel, who covers college football, I'm just brought out the article that I brought with me because I thought, I'd be sitting in my room and be able to have everything out in front of me from my book bag, and I brought some of the high school stuff with me to talk about this. But Pete Thamel covers college football for ESPN, one of the best out there. He wrote an article about this, and I think you brought up a great point that Jameer putting his name to this is going to really help expedite things, and I think it's huge to try to get more of the great student athletes here in the state of Ohio,
Right.
This type of ability, and he said that Brown right now, as a junior in high school at a public school, has an earning power of more than $100,000 a year.
Yeah, it's more than that for sure. That's crazy. I mean,
it's more than that, but like, just to put a number on it, like 6 figures at least is the earning power of a high school kid in Ohio. Of course, you want to see if you can do that, and you want to try to get NIL deals. Like, again, one of 6 states, Ryan, that aren't doing this. I know there's a couple of around us, but more and more states are doing it. Even there in DC, in the District of Columbia, they have it. So, look,
get with the program.
It's time. Like, they haven't. Oh, the Athletic Association, I saw, according to, I think it was Matt Gould of Cleveland.com, they hadn't presented a plan of NIL since the one that got voted out, or like voted down, in 2022. It's been 3 years. 3 years, and now, thanks to Jameer Brown, sounds like that process is actually going to get expedited. You had
Good
something you wanted to bring up before we get
I just wanted to bring up a quick matchup real quick. St. Ed's, number 3 in the state, against Archbishop Moeller, number 2 in the state. Going to be so good. Moeller's QB, Matt Patowski, threw for like 250 yards and 5 touchdowns last week. And one of the receivers, 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. St. Ed's, I mean, they beat Clarkson North last week, 42-23, and they played 3 games in a row. They scored over 40 points. This matchup is, this late in the season is going to be incredible. Definitely count me in for that. So,
since Ed's loss to Massillon this year, which was their 4th straight loss to that program, and Massillon came out the very next week and only got a safety against Clarkson North. Like, they got ran off the field because they came with absolutely no energy, no effort. St. Ed's, since that point, has just played inspired,
for sure,
and angry football. Johnny Ivanchik, their quarterback, is definitely a name to know. Zach Hackelman, the Toledo commit wide receiver. I know my camera's a little dark. The light's going out, but people just need to hear me anyways. Zach Hackelman going to Toledo. He is setting all kinds of records. And you talk about the quarterback from Moeller, the reigning Mr. Football in Ohio, and continuing to do things. I think he's committed somewhere, but I can't remember what I wrote down in my notes about that, but I feel like he is committed to a place. At least he is being recruited to go Division I. So that is a big time matchup. And then Benedictine and VASJ.
He's committed to Kentucky, by the way.
Kentucky. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, he's already in Kentucky, so why not go to Kentucky? I kid. I'm sorry, Cincinnati people. I'm sorry. But Benedictine, VASJ, 2 programs a lot of people know. I know, like private school programs a lot of people know. Would it surprise you to know that these 2 schools haven't faced each other in 20 years?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they face off. They face off tomorrow with both teams only, I think, 1 loss on the season, and looking to get some extra playoff points there. And that one should be a barn burner as well going into week 9 of high school football. And shout out to all the high school football athletes, but also the high school student athletes. Tennis is in the States right now. I know there's a girl from Amherst, I think a girl from Gilmore going down in the state tournament. Soccer is now in their playoffs. Volleyball, I think, is there as well. Golf may have had theirs already, but I know that there were several great golfers here in Northeast Ohio. So shout out to all the Northeast Ohio and just around the country, all the great high school student athletes that are out there and will get their winter seasons or spring seasons if they don't play multiple sports. Plenty to keep an eye on throughout the year, and we'll get more information from Peter and our friends over at CBC TV, because I'm sure as they cover other sports going throughout the year, there'll be some big time performances we want to bring up on the show as well. We're trying to cover it all and give you the best product we possibly can. Ryan, that's all I got. You got anything else you need to get off your chest?
No, man, I'm good. We got to get out of here. I think we're Wrestling podcast has got to go, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they go live or anything like that, but yeah, they got to go. So we will get out of their way and talk to you guys next week. Hopefully, as the Cavs season gets going, have a little more positivity in the Cleveland sports realm.
Absolutely.
And not just for Ohio and high school stuff, but professional ranks. Hopefully we have some positivity for Ryan Moster. Our great people over at Greeny Sports Cards, reach out to them at greenysportscards.com. Jump in one last week for the football cards. Jump in on, as Ryan shows you there on the screen, jump in on social media, on Twitter at BTL_pod. All the rules are there. Thank you to Peter Tellett for all he does and LPV Productions. Thank you to all that tune in. I'm Kevin R. reminding all of you, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all 3,000. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Ryan?
Fire Kevin Stefanski. I'm over
Instead
it.
of sign Nick Chubb, we're going to fire Kevin Stefanski.
You should have signed Nick Chubb.
Shoulda. We shoulda. And live life all gas, no brakes. We'll see you next time right here on The Voice of the Lamb.